everybody, my name is Jessica Holyfield and I'm a professional dance choreographer and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States, and we're going to be taking a look at Stray Kids in Spread My Wings, I believe is the name of the track. We only have a performance video to take a look at, but I don't know if it's either I missed something or not. I do know this is around their debut era. I just looked at District 9, really fun, and I'm excited to see if this is going to be around a similar vein or just a different niche of genre of movement. All that to say, I'm pumped to watch. Let's go ahead and check it out. Nice. Oh, I actually really like his one of the layers. It's mesh. That's really fun. Fun. This choreography, in comparison to District 9, it kind of feels like the choreo is playing a more accessory role. Not really as much of a focal point as the members are as showcasing themselves as we are Stray Kids, if that makes sense. I like this ending though. That definitely feels like the choreography. Ooh, I liked that. Where he goes, they twinkling and it feels like little wings. That was cool. But to kind of refine my feedback here, it does feel like the movement is more complementary and not really the top priority in comparison to what we saw in District 9, where the movement really helped enhance the tone and showcasing each member. Here it really just felt like the choreo, not really finale-esque or what's the best way to word it? Just in general, it doesn't feel like the choreography was meant to be the main focal point. I think more the camera shots of the members and the members being showcased mattered more. And I think there's beauty in all of those things. Honestly, I feel like if a group is only known for one thing or only known for showcasing one element of their routine, a lot of times they can be subjected to more pressure in that particular niche or field. You know, I feel like that naturally happens anyway, but I I digress, you know. So we're going to talk about the choreo. Of course, it's not a straight cam or anything like that, so we'll do the best we can with what we have. And it is a bit repeated, so I may end up repeating some notes. My apologies in advance for that. But the beginning here is cool. The beginning and end, the bookends, definitely feel like the choreo has a more priority, more of a priority because there's no one singing, right? And it does feel more unified. And I think that's what I'm getting from that. But the whole middle feels very much a let us introduce each member. Feels like that. Anyway, but I like the expansion out. They go and they make it very legato. And then, of course, they have a nice little interruption happening with the hand. Really cool. Everyone looking downcast. Bring it through ding, ding, ding. Like that choice as well. Then you have all the different members. Hello, hello. They bring that shit up. Like that choice. Richard through nice little transition. Notice they probably in rehearsal they may have slid that, but because of the type of environment or textile that not textile, but the actual flooring. Notice that's like straight up concrete, and it's probably grainy too. So they probably had to modify that if it was a slide before to just a little hop because they did a good job on it. Normally people don't hop on a transition like that, but I think because of where they are, they had to. I get that. The lift on that, love the commitment. Really pushing that head up to the sky, everybody looking, being intentional. Boom, boom. I like how he pushed that energy to create a nice moment right there. Everyone making different choices like that too. Our feature is the only one that's the highest level in terms of how he's standing. Everybody else is melted, or they're creating a little hollow position in the body to make it feel like we have an extra pocket of space to do something with, right? And it feels, once again, what they're doing a fantastic job of so far that I've noticed is their commitment to a dynamic. So what I mean by that is speed, especially speed changes, they do a fantastic job of, for sure. I like the switch, dee-dee-dee, cool. Branch it across. What do they? They do, cool. I didn't want to have the lyrics at the bottom because they would take away from the choreo, so let's actually go back. I don't want to look young, so I keep changing clothes. Okay. Okay, yeah, got it. And he grabs his clothes. He sits down. I don't know if the words keep changing. I'm not sure. But I like the fact that he's just literally sitting on everybody. I never watched the news, but now I watch them because I want to look like an adult. So he's like kind of laid back, for me, my grandpa would always sit in his recliner watching the news. Now, my news in my country, depending on what channel you watch, they're going to feed you a very specific narrative. And not, I don't know how other countries operate, but myself, since the pandemic, most of the country does not trust a single thing that has come out of a news outlet outside of our local news. Honestly, just putting it plainly. But I could be, I don't speak on behalf of all of America, but a lot of the people that I'm around, we don't believe a lot of the news networks for what they say. But anyway, I think that's completely has nothing to do with this. I just thought it was a very fun note. But I like how he's going back because a lot of times I know for me, I can relate to that kind of imagery. I want to look like an adult. So a lot of that is kind of defying norms. And I do like that choice. Making him a moment. And notice everybody's looking away except for him. And it allows us to easily see him as a feature even if the camera work wasn't working in the favor of that. So right here it's Felix, right? Yep. So nice little pony action happening there with the throw. They take it, they cross the foot over. I'm looking at dress shoes, not sneakers. So the cross over and where we're angled makes sense why we're looking a little bit lower on the feet. And then we take it through. They take it. I like that where they look down and they extend that leg out. Days used to be long. Now they feel shorter. So having them go from a longer movement to a shorter movement is going to feel appropriate here. Yep, look, exactly. Yep, so they take it and they bring it in. Yep, longer to shorter. Just talked about sneakers, so it makes sense to use the legs or using the lower body that affiliates with sneakers into play for that. This is fun. Yeah. They take it, nice little angsty moment with just the recoil of the head. I used to run to the cafeteria as soon as it was break time. Then they're dropping down like they're collapsing because we're running so fast, right? It's memories that are angsty to remember, I guess. Subtlety there, really nice. My steps feel anxious. No, my steps feel nervous and anxious. So notice they're taking it through. They want to hide, internalize. When we're vulnerable, we want to like put up walls. Physically, we use our body to cover our organs so we don't die, you know? Like, does that kind of make sense? Where a lot of times we want to hide so we're not seen. Makes sense. Nervous and anxious, those are things that can promote you wanting to hide. And I like that he's the only one who doesn't, because we're able to see him as a feature. The accent there with the fullness, I think I'll hide my excitement when I finally get my ID card. Pulling it through, like the fullness of the arms, great way to expand the formation. I act like I can't act young. I'm bad, but I'm good. So here, movement quality just feels pretty standard. I act like I'm busy though. I have time. I show off more and more. A lot of their movement choices are going to match the build up in the back. Makes sense because we've been hitting more accents or imagery that tailors to the lyricism. So having a shift of what we're going for musically is the right move, I think, choreographically. Building it up like the fullness there. Boom, boom. We're creating a nice little pulse action with our body. Boom, boom. Up and then dropping it down. My 20s are at my doorstep. Hitting through. Boom. Like that. I want to live as my age naturally. I like that because so far what I have noticed is there hasn't been anything out of pocket on their concepts for their age. Sometimes you get agencies that push the envelope in the wrong way. I like this vibe so far. I think it's appropriate. I'm going to assume a lot of them are not the age, like they're not adults. And so I think it's totally okay for us, especially as adults. We can definitely do our job, especially as those who admire people who do this line of work. Admire whenever we see concepts that are appropriate and healthy for the age that they are. You know, I think it's a beautiful age, especially when it's like you're a new adult going into adulthood. I think that's a beautiful time to showcase art, right? And a lot of times companies, and I'm not talking about JYP at all, there's some companies that take advantage of the newness of adulthood for people, the permissions that the government can now grant you to take advantage of their naiveness and dive into other concepts that help you make money. I hate saying that, but that is the world that we live in. The world, not just my country. It is pretty bad where I am, where I live. But I mean, I speak on, like, this is just about the world. And I'm very thankful that in this case with Stray Kids so far, what I've noticed is we haven't even entertained that at all. And so I feel very happy about that. It feels like some integrity is maintained throughout their time so far. And so I'm really happy with that. Live as my age naturally right here. Nice little tap, tap. Fun. Feels very, you know, not like relaxed, but it does feel neutral, which is cool. Then we go to the other side. I want to fly with my young wings, spread my wings, AA. So having more range showcase is kind of like flapping your wings almost. Spread my wings, going to the other side, fun. Tap, tap. Seems like when I can pretend to be an adult is good. Like an adult, you know, kind of maybe like taking your hat off, almost, something like that. Hats off to you, boom, putting on a facade, don't want to change, even if people say I'm a child. Yeah, some people don't take people seriously because of their age, and I think that is unfortunate. I think wisdom, a lot of times, is not really affiliated with age. For me, I come from a biblical perspective, like how I try to look at that. A lot of my perspective, I try to not look at from my own lens, but from how I view and how I study scripture, from a anthropological, if that makes sense, from a cultural context lens, not the culture that I live in, if that makes sense, because the Bible's not about me, it's about giving God the glory, but that's a side note. But like going back to like with wisdom, in scripture, in Job specifically, if you're curious, it speaks on one of the people that kind of oppose within the heated debate in the book of Job is somebody who is considered younger than all the others in the discussion. And it speaks on wisdom and how wisdom is, a lot of times wisdom does not come from your age. And so I don't, when I have students, I never look at their age as equates to ignorance. If that makes sense, there is a difference between life and lived experience, but that is not the same as I can learn so much from somebody younger than me, just as much as I learn from somebody older, you know? And so I really appreciate the fact that they don't want to change, even if people call them a child. Like, I don't want that to be deemed as something that's more derogatory, but I know some people take it that way. So I hope that they didn't experience that as much as other groups may have, you know. I digress, but I like the subtlety here, the little twinkling, and they move that hand and that head down, really fun. They throw up, wow, love that choice. And they do it twice. It looks nice. I'm clumsy, but I like the word beginning. Do they trip here? They don't. It's very clean. I'm clumsy, but I like the word beginning. So I like the switch of the levels. It's pretty repetitive. So this choreo feels more simplistic than District 9. But I think there's beauty in both, because District 9 showcases a wider range of boogaloo-influenced choreographic elements. But in this case, it feels more communal, finale-esque, welcome to what we're about. You know, and I like both in different ways. Cool. Just different genres of saying the same thing, kind of. I like that with your gesture center. He just goes and he extends out, a little simple two-step, clumsy as the way it is, and I like the level differentiation of choosing the arms up, down, cool. Expanding, boom, boom, and then we go, ready for a turn. I'm still young. It's hard to take that I'm going to be an adult. Yeah. Here, boom, boom. Oh, like shaving. Got it. Mm-hmm. That was fun. Doom, doom. Nice. And the reset, twinkling it in. I'm afraid that the day I'll be an adult will come. Yeah. Used to be a regular at a stationery. Now I go to Garusugil. So I don't know that kind of, wordplay. That's probably more cultural. I think that's fine. I don't stop at just looking at nice things. Now I'm wanting. Stop looking. I like that choice with just the head, where your eyes are. Cool. Before we do a nice little speed change. Now I'm acting like an adult, like I'm all grown. And notice how they built it up and got it too taller, because notice when you think of adults, they're taller than kids. So I see that. Take it through. Cool. He goes, expands forward. Throw it. Boom. And for me, whenever they do this, I'm low-key expecting now to have the camera go up, just like District 9. But thinking that I'm going to be one makes me go blank. Yeah, going blank. You know, whenever you think of the light, when the light shines, it's bright and it's like a blank screen almost. It feels, it's all one color. So I wonder if that's like, you're covering up color, covering up shapes and stuff, and you're only left with one look, I guess. Cool. Boom, nice little hit them folks right there to transition. The time when I got new textbooks before the new semester, we grab, nice little handoff. They build up the energy once again. Loving it. So we're using that bass, boom, 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 to really build up the energy. I put them down at the hydrant in front of the classroom because they were so heavy. So fire hydrant, assuming that. I like that choice where they sweep that leg around and create a nice point. Bless their knees. I mean, look at that. That is right there on that concrete. Woo. There's your slide. Yeah, I was wondering if the first one, that slide, it could just be where they were, or maybe that's how it was choreographed. But also, if you look, did they do the choreo on the helipad or did they do it on the grates? I don't know that. So that's another question. The responsibility I'll have to take is many times heavier than the books. Ooh, bars, my guy. It's true. Taking it through. Boom, heavier than the books in a book bag. Boom, I love that. And it makes it heavier on the accent. I'm not ready yet. I'm 100% worried. I get it. I like this choice, syncopation choice, where they bleed up the energy using the hands to really draw in that leg. Really cool. Boom, boom. Cool. I want to live as my age naturally. Yep. Same choreo. It does feel very simple. Da-da-da-da. Da-da. Tap, tap. Then we go. Da-da-da-da. Tap, tap. I think it's cute. It's fun. All this here, ding, ding, dee, 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 dee. Nice, hinging it around. Then nice little twinkling action, cool. Then we're right here, back to where we were before. Same exact thing that we saw before. So young. That was nice, dee, dee, dee. It's hard to take that I'm gonna be an adult. Yep, I get it. Ding, dee, 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 dee. So the twinkling, overlapping fingerprints, really nice choice too. This was a fun level. Notice we have the 4. This is something I do notice pretty often is they have a feature and then they have 4 up and 4 down, but they never are in a typical format. I like that. I'd say keep that up. Super fun. So you have fun. This is your fun little shape. Cool. I'm afraid that the day I'll be an adult will come. Yeah. DDD. I don't want to look young, so I keep changing clothes. Very similar. It's the exact phrase that they did in the very beginning. I wonder if it's the same guy. Yeah, changing clothes makes sense that they're flapping their clothes there. Yeah. Da-da-da-da-da. Do-do-do. And they take the hand. I never watched the news, and now I watch them because I want to look like an adult. So this is different choreo because you had literally one of them laying on top of each other. So that was cool. Nice little bleed action taking place, but different levels. And what's interesting is that you have a crouching and you have a squat. So it's still lower, but you don't have anybody that's super tall except for your feature, if that. So it's cool. Tension on that, like the camera panning in there. Yeah, I want to look like an adult. I like this part. I don't do that anymore, so they're changing their clothes in a more productive way. Cool. But they don't really. They just drop it and then they put it back up. Here we go. Now everyone's doing kind of their own thing, but you have two people. One of them's kind of harmonizing, making it a moment. Same choreo as you did before. Yep, I like that throw. That was really great range on everybody for that throw there. Bringing it through once again. Then I like how they kind of snake it down and then they throw it. That was fun. I'm bad at everything, but I like the word beginning. This is just... I do like that move. I think it's fun. The throws once again. I appreciate that we did more of a close-up there instead of doing the similar kind of distance like the first two times. So I am a fan of that. That looks great. Do-do-do. I'm still young. It's hard for me. Yep. I do like the wordplay. I think this is really fun that I understand the lyricism more, and I do appreciate that kind of wordplay and play with the choreographer. So that was nice. Do-do-wah. Day I become an adult. We slide it back in. Branching it up. Nice. He walks backwards. Now, I don't know how they formatted the formation because it was covered. So he would have ran and tripped over someone. But I like that he's walking backwards, not looking. Somebody grabs his hand and pulls him. Wow. Yep. And then he folds down. This is probably one of the coolest parts of the whole thing. I like the peel from inside to out. They come in, connect. Nice pulse once again. That boom. Nice little claw. And then they piano it out. And they grab, boom, boom, and they interlock on those thumbs. That was really, really cool. Now, there's only one thing I think that I'm actually curious about. Is this very beginning slide. So it's not this. They're on the helipad. And they slid on that type of floor. They just hopped it. Okay, maybe because when you slide, I wonder if it depends on spacing too. Because they did slide, so that was an active choice. They probably choreographed it that way. My gut could either be it's just a choreographic preference. I'm just not used to seeing that specific type of hop as a focal point in a transition. I wonder if it's a spacing thing. It could be that because when you slide, you do end up taking more space. When you do a slide in comparison to like a little hop, you can kind of like make yourself a little smaller. So, and noticing the gap between my guy standing and then my guy who ended up transitioning over and my guy through the pocket here, I don't know. I'm just very intrigued by little things like that. That's cool. That's cool. But in general, I really liked this. I think it was definitely a different approach than District 9, but it kind of told a very similar story, but just a different genre. And I think that appeals to a different group of masses because I think that this is a very important message that should always be told. And they're at a really great age where they have lived experience, very recent lived experience, and they're living it. So it's going to hit more intimately by nature because it's not like they're so far removed. They're adults talking about teenage things. That's more nostalgic, right? It's going to be a different type of genre introduced in order to justify it authentically. But in this case, they're right in the middle of it. So a lot of these choices feel very on brand to the era of where they are in life. And it's kind of like a little time capsule almost where there's not a lot of time they'll be able to truly authentically explore this because they're going to become more of an adult as they age, so it's going to hit different, right? So this was really fun to be able to see in this way. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch. If you want to see more Stray Kids, I have it on Patreon, but I also have it on YouTube if you see it there. But I always have more hanging out on Patreon. I'm right in the middle of a marathon. I don't know if this is going to get released when they have a comeback while I'm doing the marathon, but I'm having a ton of fun already, and I'm not even 5 in on just their movement quality, how I'm seeing similarities, differences, their production, their concepts, the deepness of their lyricism is something that's really I'm picking up on that I'm really enjoying. So I'm excited to see and take a look at more of their mixtapes specifically because I think there's going to be a lot of untold depth involved, and I can't wait to see that because knowing they're a self-produced group, there's a lot of that's going to be as much of our priority as the choreography, I feel. So it's going to be really cool. Once again, my name is Jess. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and I will catch you on the flip side. Bye.